On our next Digging Detroit, meet Tim and Paula, a husband and wife who met in college reviewing movies.
And we would read about an independent film and, oh, this sounds great. Where is it? And we'd go and search, and it would be in Portland, Austin, LA, New York, Chicago, Cleveland, Toronto, but it would not stop in Detroit. Right.
Their passion for film transformed a 100-year-old school into Cinema Detroit, an indie film house showing treasures found nowhere else in Michigan.
I like seeing people's reactions when they come out of the movie and they're like, wow, that was so great. I'm so glad you brought this here. I never would have seen it otherwise.
Coming up on Digging Detroit.
Hi, I'm Pete Kalinski with Digging Detroit, and today we are at the former Burton International School, which is now a very unique cinema experience called Cinema Detroit. I'm with Tim Guthat, who is the director?
Director of Operations, which is a fancy way of saying I count the popcorn, and also the co-owner.
Well, thanks for joining us on Digging Detroit.
My pleasure.
So, Tim, tell us a little bit about the building and how you came to use it for this particular purpose.
The building is over 100 years old. It started its life as an elementary school and was functioning as a part of the Detroit Public Schools up until around 2009 or so, when it was sold to a private individual who is currently our landlord. And he divided it up, the building, and turned it into kind of a multi-purpose space, really. And this wing, the school's original auditorium and the school's gymnasium, have been converted to the two-screen cinema that we operate.
Now, what is Cinema Detroit?
My wife and I, actually we met both reviewing movies for our college paper. And so we just loved movies since forever, and that was what we would do in our free time. We would go see movies. And we would read about an independent film and, oh, this sounds great. Where is it? And we'd go and search, and it would be in Portland, Austin, LA, New York, Chicago, Cleveland, Toronto, but it would not stop in Detroit.
Right.
And after a while, it just got kind of ridiculous. And then we got serious, created a business plan, and started to look for a space where we could have a movie theater and show the movies that always seem to be somewhere else but not in Detroit. And just as we were kind of finalizing our search for a permanent space, we discovered that the gentleman who owns this building, Joel Landy, who'd set up the theater, operated it for a while, but had to close it down because he had some other projects he had to work on. And he kind of was interviewed in the Free Press, and he was quoted as saying, well, maybe I'll find someone to take it over. And we developed a relationship, and we eventually then signed a long-term lease.
Now, is there anything going on here other than just the movies?
Yes. The above us are artist studios, and there's several artists who are working here. And then on the other side of us, kind of right behind me, is a daycare Montessori.
Oh, okay.
So it's really is kind of a success story of a building that has been repurposed and is now kind of really a multi-use building.
Okay. What type of response have you got?
It's really been wonderful because it has grown over the time. It had been closed down from Joel's operation, and so people, as it happens, if you're not right there in front and center, people forget about you. And so we started off slow, and we just kind of did a word of mouth campaign, and more and more people have been coming in, and they're really, we show movies that are being shown everywhere across the country, and so, but they don't necessarily have a large marketing budget. And so people probably have not heard of them. They're not going to be these big major studio pictures. And so at first people were hesitant. I'm not going to put my money down on something I don't know. It's an unknown quantity. I'm not going to get my money back. Most theaters don't refund after the movie starts.
Right.
You can't send it back to the kitchen. But now they've gotten to know us, and they know that my wife, who's a programmer, Paula, she picks good movies. And so they're going to trust her curation of movies, and they're going to come, I haven't heard of it, but I'm going to try it out, and 99% of the time they're like, wow, that was a good movie. Thank you for bringing it.
Now, what's your run schedule? When do you show movies?
Right. We started off 4 days a week, Thursday to Sunday. And actually, when we first started, we still both had our day jobs. And after a while, after things just started to get pick up more and more, and we started to get bigger and bigger movies, we switched over to go 7 days a week. So for about a year now, we've been operating 7 days a week, and it's mostly in the evenings. We have some 5 o'clock shows, some earlier shows on the weekend. When we did an animated feature called Song of the Sea, which was very popular. We had some 3 o'clock shows, and it was really popular with the families. But mostly we're an evening operation. We're right in the middle of a bunch of different film festivals. We're going to be part of Automoto, which is it's a Detroit premiere of, it's just a huge festival focused on cars and motorcycles, and more kind of the culture, but then also kind of the technical aspects, some documentaries. Then on June 5th, 6th, and 7th, we're going to be part of Cinetopia, which is in its 4th year, and that is probably the largest film festival here in Michigan, and it was voted the best film festival in Metro Times just this past winter. It is described as the best movies from the best film festivals around the world. You might read about a movie doing well at, say, Sundance or at Tribeca or the Cannes Film Festival in France. And, well, most people don't travel to those places. So what Russ Collins from the Michigan Theater did is he created Cinetopia with the idea of bringing the best movies from all of these different film festivals and putting them down in Detroit. And so people from the metro area could just come and have just a wonderful kind of weekend of film going and seeing all these awesome movies. Really, it has one weekend entirely devoted to Detroit, and then the other weekend, the following weekend, is devoted to the Ann Arbor venues.
How many films total will be
We're going to be showing 20 ourselves, in both theaters, up and down, for over the course of the 3 days. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. There's probably hundreds of films being shown.
All right, well, it looks like Paula is going to take our co-host Tom Reed on a tour of the theater. Looking forward to seeing that. And Tim, thank you very much
My pleasure.
for making the time.
Right. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Pete. We're upstairs at Cinema Detroit, and I'm here tonight with Paula Guthat. Hi, Paula.
Hi, how are you?
Paula, you act as the programmer. What are your duties? What do you get to do?
I pretty much try to find the most unusual movies that no one else is showing in the city, watch them, and pick out the best ones. So
is that a dream job for you?
It is sort of, yeah. It really is. I've wanted to do this since I was 16 years old. And I really enjoy finding unusual movies that wouldn't otherwise be seen in the city. I like seeing people's reactions when they come out of the movie and they're like, wow, that was so great. I'm so glad you brought this here. I never would have seen it otherwise. It's my favorite thing. And it happens quite a bit because a lot of our movies are Detroit, metro area, Michigan, Midwest exclusives.
You've only been really operating for about a year and a half.
Correct. That's true.
What has changed over that 18 months? Have you seen the crowds increase?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've probably tripled our numbers or more.
Wow.
We've about quadrupled our mailing list.
This is your upper theater?
Yes, correct. We have two. There's one upstairs. That's this one. Downstairs, there's another one that has slightly fewer seats, 86. This one is 125. It's certainly well suited for cinema because the acoustics in here are pretty good. Mostly when we have Q&As in here, which is a lot of the time, we like to do Q&As either in person or via Skype. We don't really need to mic it up like crazy because your voice will carry. So one of the things we did do in here is we had this event called Nicholas Uncaged, a Motor City Appreciation of Cinematic Achievement. And we did have an open mic in here, and it did carry. Like, it's definitely suited for sound in here. And that's an example of one of the cool events that we like to do. We like to have sort of different things going on. Not that Rocky Horror is all that unusual, but we did have, hosted. Yeah, we let people throw rice. That was really unusual. Always wanted. We're still finding rice, though.
What movie has gotten the best reaction that you really enjoyed?
Probably, honestly, It Follows, which was also filmed here. The director is from here. I really enjoyed it, and it got great reception. Grand Budapest Hotel, I love that movie. It got great reception. There was this movie about a documentary about a forger called Art and Craft, and that got, like, it was almost universally loved, and people were like, what in the world? Because it's just such a crazy movie. It's on probably DVD now if you guys want to see a good movie about art forgery. Welcome to Me, honestly, just closed last week, and that got a really good reaction too. Kristen Wiig is in it, and she was so funny. Like, my stomach literally hurt when I got done watching the screener. That wasn't even on screen. It was just on a computer, and it was just hilarious. And people came out and they were like, she reminds me of me, or she reminds me of somebody I know. That's like I said, the funnest part. is seeing, people's reactions to something that I love. Obviously, it's very much a labor of love because I handpick them. I watch every single movie.
Pete and I, for Digging Detroit, would like to thank Paula and Tim for inviting us into their home, Cinema Detroit. We hope you come on down and see some movies.